But also shout out to the F-35s. All we hear about the F-35s is, oh, it costs an arm and a leg. Oh, the F-35 actually isn't that good. F-16s shot them down in war games. The F-35 did its job.
Do you think the B-2 pilots get like when they're striking and doing the bombs, do you think they get like a screen recording of them dropping the bombs?
I think they do.
Like, that'd be sick.
Do you think they make like noises? They're like, meow, meow.
That'd be unreal.
Bombs away. I would do that.
You have to.
I would do cartoon noises for sure.
From the creators of the legendary MD 2020, the original name in high flavor, high alcohol beverages with those unmistakable vibrant colors and iconic flask bottles, Mad Dog by MD 2020 brings the party with 15% ABV in a portable can that tastes incredible, delicious flavor that doesn't sacrifice on drinkability. We've talked about all 4 flavors. We've got them here, the Blue Raz, the Margarita Orange Cream, and the Spiked Strawberry. We actually had the people from Mad Dog in the office today. They were incredible. They gave us these sick jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
We have a bunch. Should we give them away or something?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Do a giveaway.
We've got a bunch of sick Mad Dog jerseys. I'm gonna take it to the beach for July 4th, as well as some of the. I still haven't tried the orange cream. I'm gonna save that for July 4th at the beach. The others are great. MD 2020 just got more convenient. Grab a Mad Dog by MD 2020 and experience why we've been fueling good times for generations. Look for Mad Dog by MD 2020 in your local stores and at drinkmd2020.com now. Must be 21 or older to purchase.
Welcome back to Nanodosing. It's Tuesday. It's June 24th. We got me, Big T, in studio. Mad Dog McKenzie behind the glass. Arian is celebrating a child's birthday today. Good dad. It's a good dad day for Arian. He is going to be at the Ryder Cup this week, so I'm excited to hang out with Arian on the course. We got a lot to get into today. We got a ton. What do we want to start with, Big T?
How about the bombs?
The bombs. PFT's Playing Corner?
Yes, and I want to say something about PFT's Playing Corner, but yeah, we'll start with the news of the weekend.
Okay, what do you want to say about PFT's Playing Corner?
The B2 is the sickest plane, right?
That's a really, really bold blanket statement you just made.
Visually only.
Visually, yeah, because it looks like a spaceship.
It's so sick.
The flying wing is what they call it. The guy that designed it, or whose idea it was to have this type of like flying flat wing, he was in hospice care. He was in the hospital. He was about to die, and the company got special permission from the Department of Defense to bring him a model of the plane and all the blueprints, because it was his dream that this thing would become reality. And after he was no longer with the company, they actually entered it into a contract with the U.S. military to make it. And so they got permission to bring him the design for the plane that he got to look at before he died.
That rocks.
Yeah.
Did you see the tweet it's a picture of a B-2 from the ground? It says everybody's tough until the sky starts missing pixels.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's crazy. And from my understanding, the B-2, there's only 2 pilots in there, 2 seats, and they flew 36 hours round trip. So shout out to methamphetamines or whatever kept them awake for that entire time. But yeah, it's a crazy weekend. We did end up bombing Iran, as we thought that we might end up doing. So that's where we're at right now. We don't know what's going to happen afterwards. We don't know how successful the attack was in terms of the objectives, but we can discuss in PFT's Playing Corner how the mission took place. Would you like to discuss?
I would.
Okay. So we had some B-2 bombers that took off from Missouri, right? And some of them faked like they were going to go west, because we've got all these open source sources of information that are online right now where you can track planes. And the hope was that Iran would see the planes flying to our west and be like, okay, they're going to come in over China. They're going to come in from the west. But then we sent the real strike package to the east. Who knows how effective that was? I don't think it really made a difference because Iran wasn't able to do shit anyways. But so we go east. We refuel a couple times in the sky on our way there because we don't have enough gas to just get us there on one flight. It's not the first time that planes have gone that far on a strike mission. I believe in the first couple days of the Iraq War, we had some planes that took off from the United States that went over to Iraq. bombed the shit out of their air defenses and then came back. So we're flying overseas, and then right before we get there, we send some local planes up, some planes that were stationed in the area. We send up, I'm reading between the lines here because they're saying like 4th and 5th generation. And I think that we sent up some E-18G Growlers, which are like the F-18 Hornets.
Totally.
But they don't carry weapons. These planes are not armed. They just have electronic warfare. So they've got like all the jammers, all the shit that's going to blind the enemy air defenses. We send those planes up first to just fire super high doses of radiation at locations that we suspect might have radars.
So they can't see our mini-map.
They can't see anything. Yeah. We blind them. So we blind them with those. And at the same time, we send up, I'm guessing they were F-16s, the Vipers or the Fighting Falcons, depending on which way you want to call them. And then those are like kind of old school, but still very much modern. They've been around since like the 70s. But what they're really good at is this thing called Wild Weasel missions. The Wild Weasel mission is they're in the air. Their job, these pilots, their job is to try to get the enemy to turn their radars on and spot them in the sky. Because if the enemy spots them in the sky, the F-16 figures out where that signal's coming from, and then they use that signal to guide one of their air-to-ground weapons right down their dick. So they're up there. Their job is like, I dare you to paint me with your radar. Turn your shit on, bitch. You won't. Then they get their shit turned on, and then boom, they get a missile right up their asshole. So that's what the F-16s and the EAG-18s were doing right at the start to protect them. Not that you could necessarily see the B-2 bombers anyways, because they are stealth. Their radar cross-section is the same size as a hummingbird. So if you're firing a radar at them, the bounce back that you get, it's like, oh, there's a little hummingbird that's 35,000 feet in the sky. Probably not a big deal. So they're very hard to see anyways, but we still sent up a shitload of planes just to overwhelm them. And then we dropped penetrating ordnance on the suspected nuclear hideouts, nuclear weapons facilities, including one that is literally built into a mountain. And these are bombs that are, I think, 35,000 pounds. They can go through 30 feet of reinforced concrete and steel. And the B-2 is the only plane that can do that.
Now, I saw a diagram of how those bombs work. Mm-hmm. They're sick.
It's kind of sexual, the way that they show how they work,
yeah,
right?
They it looks, burrow into the ground and then go off.
They penetrate. They get maximum penetration and then they go off. And so the idea is you can drop these things into a mountain and then they'll explode inside the mountain after they bore down. Which, by the way, I don't know if you've seen Top Gun 2, one of the best movies of all time.
We basically just did that.
We did Top Gun 2. This mission was Top Gun 2. It was the exact mission, pretty much, that they had. The only difference is in that movie, we didn't name who our enemy was.
Do you think there's a 1% chance? Because I heard this mission has been, conceived for many years.
Yes.
Do you think there's a 1% chance, someone who used to work for the government or something told them about it? And they were like, this should be your movie.
Yeah, I think that there is. Because also in the movie, yeah, they didn't say it was Iran or whatever, but they had an F-14 Tomcat that Tom Cruise stole and then flew back. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
The only other country in the world, well, I guess the U.S. doesn't even have any working ones anymore because we just moved on. We kind of put those in the scrap heap. Iran is the only country that has those planes.
Really?
Because we sold them to them, yeah. And they still use them. They might not be the most up-to-date, kept in service, but technically I think they are still part of their Air Force.
When I watched the movie, my reading of, because they just keep saying the enemy because they didn't want to name a country.
Yeah.
The mountains that they go in are snowy, right?
Yeah.
So my reading of it was that it was Russia.
Yeah, I mean, they keep it ambiguous. Same thing in Top Gun 1. The enemy country just has a red star on their helmet. And you kind of have to figure out who that is, but they never say who it is.
Interesting.
It's just the faceless enemy. So yeah, that movie was about this exact strike that we saw.
Did you see what the name of the mission was?
Midnight Hammer.
I mean, listen, put aside whatever your personal feelings, Operation Midnight Hammer.
A lot of people are giving Trump credit for setting up the okie doke and sending planes to the west, faking them out, and then going to the east. I don't think that Trump was involved in any of the actual planning of it. I do think that Trump was heavily involved in the naming of it.
That could be.
This seems like a Donnie name to me.
Did you see the guy who tweeted he lives somewhere in Missouri, and he was like, I think he got the number right. I think he said, I just saw 9 B-2s fly over my house in such and such Missouri.
Yeah.
And he tweeted that as they were taking off.
Yeah, pretty crazy. It's like when the Bin Laden raid happened, there were some people that were in Abbottabad. I saw helicopter. Very rare here in Abbottabad. Yeah. So we fly over with the B-2s. We drop a bunch of these penetrating bombs, and I don't think they ever even got a lock on us. They didn't put up any planes. There was like no defense from Iran whatsoever. So from that standpoint, it went about as well as you could think that it would ever go. And then later on, Trump comes out and he's like, I can report to the world, we obliterated their nuclear production facilities. Fact of the matter, nobody knows what actually happened because it takes days to figure out how effective this strike was. And there are some reports that they tried to move some of the uranium out beforehand, and to get like a view of what is going on inside the mountain, that's going to take days, if not weeks, because it's not like we have people on the ground that are working inside, I don't think. So we'll see what happens in terms of how successful that was. But it is the mission from Top Gun. It goes to show you that Top Gun 2, great movie, also kind of unrealistic, because that entire mission could have been done with just the B-2s, and they wouldn't have needed like special training and the best pilots in the world. It could have just been B-2s that don't get to take.
Then it would have been a boring movie.
It would have been a very boring movie. Yeah. So I also think we had some F-35s up there and some F-22s just in case they tried to fuck around and send up any of their planes, which they didn't. Smart move.
I have another question. In Top Gun Maverick, they have to get low to drop the bombs.
Yeah.
Or the missile, whatever they're striking, because then they have to go like shoot back up the mountain, right?
They had to get low because they were trying to stay under the radar.
Okay.
Because remember all those the radar sites that they had?
Okay, that makes sense.
So you can use, if you're going over the water or if you're going over land, you use the curvature of the earth to mask you. So if you're flying to a place that's 100 miles away and you're flying at about like 100 feet off the ground, the radar is not going to be able to see you because of the curvature of the earth. You can't go through the earth. So
I see.
When you fly low, you're kind of staying under their radar. And that's what they were doing in Top Gun. That's why they were flying so low on the way to the strike.
But you said the B-2s, you just can't pick them up anyway, so they can fly wherever they want?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know all the details about which enemy radars can pick us up, how accurate they can be, if they can get a lock on us. But we do know that the B-2 is like top of the line in terms of our bombers and being able to see on a radar. So it sounds like they didn't even pick us up. Sounds like Iran's a bunch of broke boys.
Hate that.
So China was watching this, and China's like, "Fuck, U.S. Air Force, U.S. military still got it."
Yeah, sometimes you got to let them know.
Yeah, so we let them know, and now we don't know what happens. Now we're low key at war.
There was it does seem there was an Iranian missile attack on a base in Doha, Qatar, where we have some troops.
Yeah.
It seems we intercepted all those, I believe.
Okay, that's good. But yeah, Doha that's where Donnie and I stayed during the World Cup. Could have been me.
Nice town?
Define nice.
Was it what better than you expected?
There's money.
Okay.
There's a lot of money in that town. That
would generally make a place nice.
I didn't have the best time, but I was with Donnie, so that was kind of cool.
Okay.
There's not that much to do in Doha. Like, women aren't even allowed to wear shorts there.
Saw a great match, 0-0 draw.
Yeah, we beat the shit out of England.
Yeah.
0-0 draw. That was cool. But yeah, they I guess they fired some weapons at Qatar at our military base right there. I read that there's been no injuries from that, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, you can say that the mission was carried out, but now we just opened up a whole new can of worms. Like the real danger from Iran, I think, is them getting on their fuck shit and doing some like asymmetrical warfare, like terrorist attacks.
I'm far more worried about that than.
Yeah, their military. If it's our military against their military, I think we just proved it's not.
Right.
It's not close. But if we try to go back and do our every 11-year Middle East invasion bullshit that we like to do, then that's going to be bad news for us. We try to occupy the country.
Remarkably off topic, we can get right back to this. If FIFA wants some ratings. I don't know when the World Cup draw is. I assume it's like this fall, probably. U.S.-Iran on the 250th birthday of the United States in the United States.
Group of death.
Has to happen.
Yeah.
That you want to talk about a soccer match?
Yeah, it's more than a soccer match.
Yeah.
At that point,
Throw out the record books.
One thing that I've kind of this is just how I've seen it the last couple weeks as the whole Iran thing has come back into the public discussion. I don't see a lot of like USA versus Iran. I don't see a lot of hatred towards Iranian people, which is good. Like in the past, we have a tendency to mix those things up as the United States. I feel like I've seen more just people focused on the government.
Well, those were also preempted by 9/11.
Yes.
Whereas this kind of, I feel like most people are not in favor of this.
Right.
So nobody's really like upset at Iran. I mean,
no, but now
to any more appreciable degree than normal.
But here's the thing. Yes, it looks like it was carried out as good as it could have gotten for the United States. Sounds like we hit the targets. I don't know if we destroyed the targets, but now it's like you've gone and done it again, where there's going to be whole new generations of people in Iran that hate America for doing this. And then as they get older, they've got that.
They always hate us, though.
So they're going to hate us less because we bombed them?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, they would not hate us otherwise.
I don't think Iranian people hate us at all. I think
it's one of their core, death to America. It's one of their core principles.
I don't think that the Iranian people hate America. I know a lot of Persian people, a lot of Iranian people. They have none of that in their background. They seem like good people. Like I like every Iranian that I've met. I've enjoyed spending time with them. They're good people. Like some of my best friends are from Iran, their family. And so I don't know, maybe it's just the people that I've met, but I know the government of Iran and all the radical followers of that government, they would fall into that category. But by and large, the Iranian people are great people, and it would just suck if this became another conflict. But this is Mad Dog and McKinsey's first Middle Eastern war. Mm-hmm. So
I was telling them I was 2 when 9/11 happened, and then like 4 when we invaded the Middle East the last time. So this is my first conscious Middle Eastern war.
I can pretty much say with certainty that no matter what happened, no matter how successful the attack, nothing is better right now for us.
No. Yeah, no.
Like things are going to get more violent. It's going to get a little bit scary. So, I hope I'm wrong about that. I hope best case scenario, we took out all their nuke shit, and then the people of Iran are going to be like, we don't like our government anymore. Let's have another revolution and get back to being.
That's what they mean by the regime change war, right?
Yeah. I mean, ideally, it would be in the United States' best interest if this group was not running Iran right now. But that's not really our call. And if we try to make it our call, then then you run into all the unintended consequences down the road, and things get messier, and we get wrapped up in another part of the world that. Even more wrapped up in another part of the world that we really have no business fucking around with.
Question.
Yep.
Isn't that I've been trying to keep up with this as best as I can, bless you. Is that what is the regime change war, is that also what we wanted in Iraq?
Yeah, so here's what they did with Iraq. Tell me if this sounds familiar at all.
Okay.
All right. So, in the build up to Iraq, they're developing nukes. We have it on good authority that they have been running a secret weapons of mass destruction program, and they're enriching uranium. They're purchasing all these aluminum tubes that are going to be used to refine the uranium, and we don't want the smoking gun to be a mushroom cloud in one of our cities. We don't want them to nuke New York or Los Angeles.
Is this pre or post 9/11?
This is post 9/11.
Okay.
And we were also saying that Iraq is a sponsor of terrorism, that they worked with the 9/11 hijackers. And so all that was the pretense for going in.
Okay.
Then we started the war
with
Iraq, and then it became an operation to liberate the people of Iraq from their government because Saddam Hussein was a bad guy.
Okay, right.
So it was like, we're going to go in because they've got nukes. They're trying to build nukes, And then the second we go in, we're actually here to liberate them. It's called Iraqi Freedom. That's the name of the operation.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, so that was the operation after we got like boots on the ground going in.
And then we killed Saddam Hussein.
Then we arrested, and we technically didn't kill Saddam Hussein. He was killed by an Iraqi court. But I believe that the judge was selected by...
He got like the death penalty?
Yeah, they hung him.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so we pulled him out of a hole. He went and just posted up.
That's the Saddam Hussein hole.
Yeah, that was, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Right.
That was Saddam. That's when we found him hiding out in his spider hole. And then they put him on trial. He was found guilty, and they hung him.
Okay.
So, yeah, it became a regime change war after we got in there. But we started off doing the strikes before the invasion under the pretense of we're trying to take away their weapons of mass destruction, which did not exist.
Okay, another question based off that. So, I mean, Saddam Hussein was killed in what year?
I forget when he was actually
before
hung.
Osama bin Laden, right?
04,
Yeah.
05,
So,
long before, yeah.
This may sound a bit naive of me.
Mm-hmm.
Why, if we did the regime change, if we did Iraqi freedom and we got rid of Saddam Hussein, why were we in Iraq until 5 years ago?
It says 2006.
That's when he was
executed.
killed.
So,
but he was captured, I think, before that. I forget when. But yeah,
so then
it's a fair question.
Why were we in it for 10 to 12 more years?
That's a fair question. Well, because we had to try to install the new regime.
Which did we do that?
Not really.
Right.
No, we picked a guy that had no ties to anybody that was living in Iraq, and we were like, yeah, this guy's gonna be your president now.
And then we just decided to also go to Afghanistan.
Well, we were in Afghanistan after 9/11 to try to find bin Laden and get him out. And that was a war that I think, by and large, the American people were like, yeah, this is reasonable. They attacked us. Let's find this guy. And then as we're in that war, then the Bush administration's like, you know who else is bad? Saddam Hussein.
Okay.
Who they tried initially to blame for 9/11.
They're like, we're already there.
Yeah, we're basically there. And then while they were going into Iraq, then we started making plans to invade Iran next, back in 2003, 2004.
Right, because isn't the whole thing that Iraq has always been like weeks or months away from nuclear weapons for like 30 years?
Well, that's Iran right now.
Or sorry, I meant Iran.
But Iraq, they were also saying they're developing nukes, they're going to nuke us. And George Bush gave a speech referring to Iran, Iraq, and North Korea as the axis of evil.
Okay.
Like those are the three bad guys in the world right now.
Okay.
And so we figured we're already in Iraq right now. We're already in Afghanistan. Why don't we just take Iran out too?
Right.
And so Dick Cheney was pushing to also invade Iran back in like 2004.
Right.
And the CIA was like, you are fucking insane.
Okay.
You
and
don't
Dick
know
Cheney loves war.
Loves it.
Got it.
It's his
I
favorite
kind of
thing.
got that vibe.
He loves shooting people so much he does it on hunting trips.
Like more than Lindsey Graham?
Oh, yeah, I would say yes. I think Dick Cheney loves war more than I think Lindsey Graham just loves men in uniform.
Well, that was his profession before he was in government.
Lindsey Graham?
No.
Dick Cheney.
Yeah, I worked for Halliburton.
Yes.
Doing contracting.
I watched Vice. I remember that part.
Yeah, and then they got a bunch of no-bid contracts to make a shitload of money during the Iraq War. Driving trucks, setting up food services.
Interesting.
Yeah, this whole thing.
Interesting.
So it sounds.
So this does sound familiar, actually.
It's almost the exact same playbook that we had back with, like down to the mushroom cloud shit.
Except remarkably less popular.
Yeah.
Because there was no like catalyst, really. Like there was no 9/11 to make anyone feel this was necessary.
In the most recent Iraq War, I don't know what the numbers were going into it in terms of public opinion. But I know for a fact I was in the minority when I was like, hey, we shouldn't do this. Mm-hmm. I want to say it was like 60 or 70% in favor, 30% maybe against.
A Gallup poll made on behalf of CNN and USA Today concluded that 79% of Americans thought the Iraq War was justified, no matter the lack of conclusive evidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is bullshit.
Right. And then, now with this, was Israel involved in the Iraq War as much as they are in this one?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that they supported it. In terms of troops, I don't know if they had any. They definitely gave us intelligence.
But they right now it feels as though Israel is just as much a part of this as we are.
Well, I'd say that they are the main.
They are the reason we are in this.
The main reason why we conducted this raid was because Israel was conducting their own strikes.
Right.
And I just saw a report that Israel said that Iran was trying to give the Houthi terrorists a nuclear weapon. Like Israel told the Trump administration that.
Oh, okay.
And so we're like, oh shit, okay, better. Okay. You're right. We'll take your side. Let's get some birds in the air. So, yeah, it's not going to be a one and done thing where it's like we do this air raid and then it's over.
Yeah, I'm not. Again, these similarities are striking. I'm not really seeing how this doesn't turn into a war.
Well, the difference is with Iraq, it was always a plan for a war. So we did our airstrikes and shit at first to take out their air defense systems and bomb all the strategic points, and then we sent in the ground troops. That was always part of the plan, to send in ground troops. I don't think that we're planning on sending a bunch of troops into Iran. Okay. I could be wrong, and depending on how Iran responds, how it escalates, then that could be a very real thing. If they conduct a successful attack on like an airbase that we have over there, or a ship that we have, they're going to try to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which is where I think it's like 80% of the crude oil in the world gets shipped through this one narrow channel. Okay. And they can try to shut that down. Depending on how they respond, it's not out of the question to think that we'd have troops there, which is not good.
Yep.
And then obviously the asymmetrical warfare stuff like the terrorism, which is, if it's a lone wolf that's here in the United States, if it's groups of people that are here in the United States, if it's people that are overseas in small groups attacking our military bases, like the sheer numbers of it, the U.S. is always going to come out on top. Like we took out more of them than they took out of us, but we don't want to have anyone die. We don't want any of that happening because of a lot of reasons, but it would just suck. It'd be terrible because it would just keep escalating from that point. So
are those the sleeper cells that Charlie Kirk keeps tweeting about?
I mean, that's all speculation,
right?
But
is that what he's referring to?
The fact of the matter is, if you bomb somebody, if you bomb a country, there's going to be people from that country that will figure out a way to hurt you somehow.
Yeah.
In retribution.
Right.
No matter what. Like, that's just how it's always going to be. So we put our cards on the table. Mm. But also, like, we used a lot of cool planes, which I appreciate just on a pure look at those planes.
Aesthetic.
Look at those planes type level.
Right.
You think you could fly a plane for 36 hours straight? With one other pilot?
How much meth do I get?
I'm sure they'll give you some Adderall or...
Yeah, no, they've got their own. They've got their own meth.
What do they have?
I forget what it's called, but the Air Force has like specific aviation meth that they use, which I got to get my hands on at some point.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Germany in World War II had their Pervitin. They would give to submarine pilots to stay awake for like 4 days nonstop before they had a heart attack. We've got that same stuff in the military. Like, you can't send two guys up into a plane and be like, go fly for 36 hours without some sort of chemical enhancement.
For sure.
Just wouldn't work. So yeah, if anybody out there has ever done the Air Force meth, reach out. Let me know how it is, because it seems like it rocks.
They're just flying the plane the whole time? Like there's nothing else to do?
So there is a bed on board the B-2.
But you usually need two people doing it, right?
You would ideally like to have two people, yeah. There's a lot of buttons. There are tons of buttons in those planes. So you can take a nap if you have to. Also, what's kind of crazy about this mission, since it was like super top secret, from what I heard, the pilots of the B-2s, they were not talking to each other. They weren't using radio communications to like talk to anybody back in the United States. They had their waypoints. They had the time zones that they were expected to hit at certain points, when they're going to meet up with the refuelers. They were not on the radio at all, talking to anybody. And kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
Like sitting 36 hours. I guess they probably talked to each other, but you run out of shit to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do Jordan LeBron for so long.
They're up there.
That's 3 hours max.
Max, yeah.
Now you have 33 left.
What if they? So I would imagine that they selected the pilots based on who the best B2 pilots in the world were, right?
I would assume so.
With no care into whether or not they got along, whether or not they were a good hang.
I would imagine the military. I would hope the military is prioritizing performance over friendship.
Yeah, but again,
But I assume that's a pretty tight. I mean, how many B2s are there?
I want not as many as you think.
50?
I think less. I think like 20.
All right. So if there's 20 of those planes, there's only, 50 pilots?
There's probably more than that. So you can do shifts.
Okay. But less than 100?
There's probably not a lot. Yeah.
So it's probably a very tight-knit group.
Yeah.
Also, I assume, so
can you listen to podcasts?
the 18 hours there, obviously, they're very focused. But then once they get out of Iran on the way back, now you've got 16 hours of, you're home free. That's when you need.
Maybe you can get on comms at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You turn around, you spend the first hour high-fiving. You're like, dude, that was fucking awesome. Remember when I dropped that one bomb?
Yeah. No, that would be would be so sick.
Dude, we just fucking blew up a mountain. You see that shit?
That would be unbelievable.
No, that first bomb was good, but the second one, dude, your second bomb, like all time. I know.
How are there bombs in there? It looks like really flat on the bottom.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a big plane, but they've got big weapons bays that carry all of them. But also shout out to the F-35s. All we hear about the F-35s is, oh, it costs an arm and a leg. Oh, the F-35 actually isn't that good. F-16s shot them down in war games. The F-35 did its job.
Do you think the B-2 pilots get like when they're striking and doing the bombs, do you think they get like a screen recording of them dropping the bombs?
I think they do.
Like, that'd be sick.
Do you think they make like noises? They're like, meow, meow.
That'd be unreal.
Bombs away. I would do that.
You have to.
I would do cartoon noises for sure. I thought about recreating this mission in the flight sim, but I don't know. 36 hours is a lot. Also, it's like
that'd be a great after dark stream.
It would be, but also it's also not that cool. Like, it's cool just from my appreciation of planes, but it's also kind of scary because now we don't know what's going to happen right now. So hopefully nothing.
Does your realistic flight simulator, what do you call it?
It's a hyper-realistic digital combat simulator.
So can you drop bombs on there?
Yeah, you can run some air-to-ground missions. You can run some of the Wild Weasel missions out of the F-16. I don't think that they have a B-2 cockpit.
That's a shame.
It is.
That should be the next DLC.
Well, that'd be great, but also when it comes to these like brand new planes, we don't know what they actually look like because it's all confidential. But I suspect that we're going to get some video footage of the weapons making impact, that type of thing.
How old is the B-2?
That's a good question. When did the B-2 enter service? Let's find out.
What's your guess?
My guess would be 1999.
Okay.
Let's see. Enter service. 1997.
Solid guess.
Pretty good guess. It is maybe the coolest looking plane.
Good year, 97.
Yeah, it was okay.
What were you doing, 97?
I was rooting for the University of Tennessee.
Doing what?
I was rooting for Peyton Manning.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. What were you doing?
I was born.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about this other than cool plane stuff happened, but also bad stuff happened that I'm not super excited about. So
doesn't seem many people are excited about it.
No, who is excited about it?
I've seen some, but it seems to be people who are like, do you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? I think everyone's answer to that is an unequivocal no.
Yeah.
However, there doesn't seem to be any credible evidence that they were going to.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, we've been saying this for 30 years.
Yeah.
If Trump came out today and said, "Here's what we had," show me that they were very close to having a nuclear weapon, I would 1,000% bomb the shit out of their uranium sites.
Yeah, I also think that there's a very long history of our government lying to us about why we're conducting military action for reasons that are not usually what they say they are. I would say we've been lied to a lot. There's ulterior motives sometimes, and it would not surprise me if this was another one of those cases. So, yeah, that's it. Mission accomplished. Do the press conference.
Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Yes. Okay, what else we got to get into today, Big T?
This is a little bit related to that. I have a bone to pick with someone whom I think you and I both love. Jon Rothstein.
Yes.
Unbelievable at his job. Just eats, sleeps, breathes college basketball.
Yep.
He's self-aware of the bit at this point, and he's doing it on purpose, and it's ruining it.
Okay.
He tweeted at, hold please, 7:21 p.m. on Saturday, 7:51, excuse me. There was some important news going around at that time. He tweeted, source, UConn will host East Texas A&M on December 5th. Dan Hurley versus Jarrett Von Rosenberg, which, if it was done genuinely, is hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hunch, however, he was holding on to that one.
He's got some files.
Yes.
Rothstein has break glass in case of emergency. He wants to be the Nick Castellanos of college basketball.
Yes.
So whenever anything big in the world happens, he's like, okay, what's up first? Montana State versus Fordham. Let it fly.
Yeah.
Like, actually, Jon Rothstein, it calls into question his journalistic integrity.
Mm.
He's sitting on all this news. Like, right now, the public would be better served if we had all these dates, right? Like, we could make our travel plans.
Imagine if you're an East Texas A&M fan and you want to know you're playing UConn on December 5th.
I know. Listen, people have hotel rooms to book.
Yeah.
The ECU Memphis game that he's probably waiting to announce when we do nuke.
Well, they're in the same conference, so they play every year.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, bad example. Coastal Iowa State.
Sure.
Coastal Carolina Iowa State matchup
Screams November 22nd to me.
And there's people that are trying to make their Thanksgiving plans.
Mm-hmm.
And Jon Rothstein is waiting for the Ayatollah to be toppled in a bloodless coup.
Yeah. I just, if he was doing it for real, it'd be awesome and it would be very funny. But I think we all know at this point, he's aura farming.
Is he aura farming?
I think so.
That's sad.
And you know what happened to the last guy they said was doing that?
Tyrese Halliburton.
Popped an Achilles.
I don't think he was aura farming.
That's what the kids accused him of.
Well, Skip Bayless did too.
Really?
And basically, what pretty much said, like, way to play the fake injury card for Tyrese Halliburton to get everybody to not put him under pressure during the NBA Finals. And then it was probably 2 minutes later after Skip tweeted that he popped his Achilles.
Did you see who finally caught a massive W? Kendrick Perkins.
Oh, why?
He said after he strained his calf, he said, if it's really a calf strain, under no circumstances should you play. He said, you're going to pop an Achilles.
Wow. I could imagine why Kendrick Perkins, his body would.
Yeah.
Like, if you feel any twinge below the waist, just like go horizontal for a week, buddy.
Yeah.
Big man. That sucked last night. That sucked that Halliburton popped the Achilles. And are we going to have the conversation about why kids are having, like, why NBA players are tearing their Achilles at such a high rate?
I think people are doing that, yeah.
What's your call?
I mean, they're playing forever. I'm being 100% serious. I found out yesterday the NBA Finals were still going on. I couldn't believe it.
You didn't know?
Couldn't believe it.
You know there was a Game 7?
I guess I did know that, but it was I figured I'd missed it. I don't know. It was June 22nd, and I found out they were still playing.
How'd you find out?
I just scrolling Twitter.
So did you watch the game?
No.
What are your thoughts on the game from somebody who didn't watch it?
I saw here is what I saw of Game 7. I saw the Halliburton injury, and I saw that the Thunder didn't really seem to care that they won.
Okay, they didn't care?
Yeah, they were just kind of chilling in the locker room, like walking around.
All right, so boring finals is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right.
I would say all of them since like 2016 have been boring.
I mean, 2016 was pretty incredible.
Yeah, that was
Hell yeah.
That was probably the last time I was really dialed. Well, then when KD was with the Warriors, I was still dialed in. But then after that, I've been checked out of the association.
The Pacers, they do play a fun brand of basketball though. And the Thunder kind of do too, except for when SGA tries to do his foul baiting stuff. But
I'll take your word for it.
the Pacers, the way they play basketball is very fun. It's like you have to pass the ball in under a second every time you touch it.
When did the NBA playoffs start?
Ooh. April 22nd. That's my guess.
April 19th. 2 months.
That's a long time. Did you see, though, that every player that tore their Achilles, we got 3 in the postseason? Dame?
Yeah, so, and then I saw that happened, may as well have been last summer.
Yep. Dame, Tatum, Halliburton.
All 0.
All wear number 0.
Yeah, saw that.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Congrats to the Thunder. Congrats to Clay Bennett. We love Clay Bennett. Howard Schultz. All the great guys.
Is he involved in the Thunder?
He was a main reason why they left Seattle. If you're a Supersonics fan and you're watching this, that was a bad night for you. I feel for them.
Yeah, that would suck.
We should. There was a former owner of the Thunder that passed away under very mysterious circumstances.
Really?
Yeah. This guy, his name was McClendon. Aubrey McClendon. So he owned Chesapeake Energy, and he died. Let me see. It was 2016. Car drove into the side of a bridge, and a lot of people speculate that he was actually not in that car, that he faked his own death.
Interesting.
I'm not saying I speculate that, but I'm saying that there's a conspiracy in and around Oklahoma City that this guy who was about to be, I think he had just been indicted for fraud, massive amounts of fraud, that he escaped the country and is now still alive. I'm not saying I believe that, but I'm saying a lot of people do. He pretty much drove straight into the wall. That's what they say. All right, what else do we want to get into today?
There was Arian and I had. I'm very disappointed he's not here. We had that lengthy discussion about AI last week, and literally when we got done recording, I saw. Did you see the MIT study on AI?
I did not.
Okay, so it came out like that day we recorded. Let me pull it up real quick. They more or less concluded that it's turning people's brains into applesauce.
Okay, go on. I love applesauce.
The study divided 54 subjects, 18 to 39-year-olds from the Boston area, into 3 groups and asked them to write several SAT essays using OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google's search engine, and nothing at all, respectively.
Now, are we sure that these are people that have been using AI, or from the demographic, are they just maybe avid Barstool Sports fans?
I don't get the question.
Well, it's 19. What's the age range?
18 to 39-year-olds in Boston.
Yeah, so it's stoolies.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
But
a survey of stoolies showed that they suck at writing essays?
No. Not a survey, a study.
Okay, all right.
They had... I'll repeat the sentence for you.
Okay, because I'm about...
It seemed you checked out at 18 to 39 from Boston. I'll reread the rest.
I was about to get offended.
Okay. The study divided 54 subjects, 18 to 39-year-olds from the Boston area, into 3 groups and asked them to write several SAT essays using OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google's search engine, and nothing at all, respectively.
Okay.
So a third of them wrote an essay using nothing. A third wrote one using Google. A third did it with ChatGPT. Researchers used an EEG to record the writer's brain activity across 32 regions and found that of the 3 groups, ChatGPT users had the lowest brain engagement and, quote, consistently underperformed at neurolinguistic and behavioral levels. Over the course of several months, ChatGPT users got lazier with each subsequent essay, often resorting to copy and paste by the end of the study.
Yep.
And there were all sorts of charts and stuff that came with it. But I also heard from a number of teachers who DM'd me on Instagram and said, like, it's so much worse than you can even imagine.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's anecdotal, but...
I believe it, though. Like, if you get the answers and now you can say, like, write this in a way that does not lend itself to being caught.
Well, now I think there's, like, websites you can put it through that makes it not detectable from the software that detects it.
So that is the ultimate form of laziness, because if you wanted to, you could copy and paste a lot of it and then go through and just rewrite the sentences yourself.
Yeah.
And you would never get caught doing that.
Probably.
But now you have to ask AI to make the AI
Right.
less recognizable.
Yeah,
That to me, that's the kids have no work ethic.
I agree.
At least be respectable and go through and rewrite that in your own words.
Yeah.
Just like change a couple words here and there.
But then there's another AI story that I sent you. Hold please, all sent. There was an AI company that its software, in one extreme scenario, the company even found many of the models were willing to cut off the oxygen supply of a worker in a server room if that employee was an obstacle and the system were at risk of being shut down.
Okay.
Ominously, even specific system instructions to preserve human life and avoid blackmail didn't eliminate the risk that the models would engage in such behavior. I'm trying to find what company this was. It's from Anthropic AI. It's the first time hearing of them, but they seem to be quite a big venture.
Do you guys use AI?
I do not.
No, not really.
Forgive me for my ignorance. Do we not have a program that is an AI thing that puts subtitles on videos automatically?
Oh yeah.
So I guess I guess I do use AI, but
I mean, it's
I'm
kind
not,
of just a software.
yeah,
But,
like we also have like captions. That's like through Adobe Premiere, and it creates the captions for you. So I guess that's technically AI. We also have a thing here called Autopod that
Trey made.
I
so
think
it
is
feels
AI. Yeah,
in-house.
it's Trey basically coded this program that cuts the cameras for you. So if you record a podcast,
that's
it
what
can-
I was talking about.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So that can detect. You assign the audio to the video, and it detects who's speaking on which camera, and then it cuts the cameras for you after you record.
I don't know if that's AI though. That's
Yeah, I
just
don't
a
know
piece
if
of software.
Right.
Yeah, it's like he coded it himself, so it he does it, and then we just use what he coded.
I'll say
so.
this: I don't use ChatGPT ever. I do not log on to that website. I know my brain. It will turn into applesauce.
This
I
is a
do-
protective measure that
Yeah.
you've implemented. Yeah.
Yes.
I use it if I have something I want to Google, but that it's not just like if I'm Googling Braves schedule, I just Google that and click on it. But if I'm Googling like a question, I'll go to ChatGPT first and see if its answer is good, and then I'll go to the links that it sends.
Yeah, because a lot of it is just completely wrong.
Often, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you ask it sports, it's totally wrong.
It's like 2 years off. Yeah.
I also don't think that. I think a lot of what people use it for is a lot of people I know use it for recipes or make a grocery list for me. It's use your brain.
So every time I've used that if there's an AI symbol on an app that I'm on,
Okay.
every single time I've clicked on that AI thing, like use our AI or our AI service for this, every single time it's been dog shit. Every single time it's bad. It's way worse than if I just used my own brain and then looked at the information and then thought about the information for half a second. You know what AI is like? I'm going to get on some Colin Cowherd stuff real quick. AI, it's like pickleball. People told me, pickleball, next big thing. Everyone's playing pickleball. Every rec center now, every country club, we all got pickleball because everyone's playing. It's on TV. We got big sponsors. Pickleball is the future. It's the future of sports. Big money coming into it. You have to watch it on ESPN now. It's everywhere. Pickleball fucking sucks. AI, it's the next big thing. Oh, you have to learn how to use AI. Everyone's using AI. How can AI make your business better? Every business, we have to have some sort of AI initiative. It fucking sucks.
Yeah. Also, not
The end users, consumers of the product, it fucking sucks for us.
yeah. Also,
Chill out with it.
not to be the friend who's too woke, but I will be. The environmental factors of it are banana land. So
They suck up all the water.
yeah, it's using all of the water. So if I can do that to not, do my part in the environmental factors, I will bow out of ChatGPT as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And pickleball.
And well, I cannot promise the pickleball thing.
Are you a pickleball holic?
I'm not a holic, but I enjoy a pickleball every once in a while. I'll go when I go home next week for 4th of July, I'll play pickleball probably 5 to 6 times.
Okay. Pickleball, it's not bad to play.
No.
I've enjoyed myself when I've played pickleball in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need it everywhere. We don't need it. We don't need it on TV. We certainly don't need it on TV.
Did you see that the number 1 woman in pickleball is like the most dominant athlete currently playing any sport right now?
Yeah, I did see that. I thought about that, Mad Dog,
And
because
she's 18.
I don't respect that as greatness. I don't.
And that's fair.
I don't, because you know what? 50 years from now, when pickleball is the number 1 sport in America, because that's our only choice, because everyone that invested in pickleball is shoving it down our throat so much that it's the only sport on TV. In 50 years from now, we're going to look back at today's pickleball players and be like, they were playing against plumbers and electricians.
That's they're going to be playing against
They suck.
uh
We're watching the old school black and white, like 1930s basketball of one guy dribbling around in a circle, and we should be clowning that now.
Yeah, they played Holy Family Academy out of
You're not beating anybody right now.
You think Honus Wagner could hit any pitcher in the major leagues right now?
Absolutely not.
I don't think so.
And that's
either.
what you're spending your time watching when you see pickleball on TV.
I feel about pickleball the way many, they're generally more on the left,
Okay.
feel about golf. When they're like, this takes up so much land, it's outrageous, those need to be parks.
Uh-huh.
I walk down the street every day, and there's just a new pickleball pop-up. They've turned something else into a pickleball court.
Yeah, you're like, that should be a Bass Pro Shop.
I can walk from my apartment to like 6 different pickleball courts.
Yeah.
You can.
And it's we don't need all this pickleball.
I agree. It's taking up urban housing.
Yeah.
That should be a golf course.
It could be anything. It could be a nice restaurant. It could be a cool shop. Anything.
Yeah.
But it's all pickleball.
I agree.
I'm a casual enjoyer. I play with my mom. She goes to pickleball lessons twice a week. She says it gets her out and about.
I appreciate that, and that's a good thing.
Right.
And I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. So if you like playing pickleball,
No.
all the more power to you.
But you don't have to respect the greatness of it.
Yeah, and also Big T's kind of right that there's too much of it. And for me, it's just mostly I don't want to see. I don't like the fact that it's on TV all the time with like big corporate sponsors.
Right.
And people are telling me it's a huge spectator sport in America now, because it's just not. It's not that fun to watch.
Doesn't Tom Brady have stake in it
Yeah.
in some way?
Yeah, like all the guys in that circle, they were told 3 years ago, hey, I'm sure Michael Rubin is a big part of this too. I'm sure Michael Rubin is like, we're doing pickleball next. That's the next thing, guys. Get involved. And then everybody's like, oh yeah, wait, Michael Rubin, Paul Rabel, no disrespect to Paul Rabel, lacrosse goat. We're doing this big time pickleball. It's the next big sport. And then somebody at ESPN that's friends with them is like, oh, we got to get pickleball on. Michael Rubin told me it was the next big sport. Nobody's out there watching this shit. It sucks to watch. Talk to me in 40 years. All right. Anything else, Big T?
That's all that was on my sheet. We missing anything?
Anything in the news, guys? Anything over the weekend that we want to get to?
I mean, kind of the Iran thing took up a lot of my brainscape.
And I ran.
What'd you think about the address?
It was, which one? Are you talking about
On Saturday night.
the guy from the Joint Chiefs, Kane? When he
Trump.
I do like when the guys give their whole full plane breakdowns afterwards. He's like, the B-2s took off at 32 degrees north latitude.
General Raising Cane.
Yeah, Raising Cane, and they dropped their ordnances. Massively successful. We had the F-35s that were providing intercept. Iran's military did not scramble any planes. They knew we were coming, and they still couldn't do anything. But yeah, you're talking about Trump's address.
Yeah.
Can I be honest, Big T?
Yeah.
And this is not Trump derangement syndrome. Kind of low energy.
It was late.
It was late at night. His words, he used to use the best words.
Yeah, he did.
He's not using the best words anymore.
Yeah, I don't really recall any that stick out.
Like, I wish that from just a pure content standpoint, I wish he treated those situations like he would treat the debates. Like they were his political rivals. But he was just like, it was a massive strike. We obliterated them.
You know, he's the classic team that gets up big for when Georgia's coming, but then they're playing App State, and he has a letdown week because he's not properly motivated.
Yeah, he didn't have the great words this time. He seemed low energy, stuttered, slurred some of his words. Just, I don't know. I expected better from the press conference. I expected like a moment that's like, holy shit, did you see what this lunatic said? And it was just like an old guy talking about war. Kind of boring.
Yeah.
Kind of boring.
What'd you think of his posse behind him?
Hegseth, whatever.
Hegseth, Rubio, Vance.
Vance,
There
yeah.
was somebody else.
I think it was just and Trump.
I thought he had 4 people behind him.
No, because they had to do a little choreography
Yeah.
to make it.
They were fighting to see who could get in the front.
That's right, because it was just Vance on one side.
Yeah,
You think Rubio had his water?
I think Hegseth had something.
He had something in the cup? No, he quit drinking when he took this job.
Okay.
That was my favorite thing about
Yeah, I believe
about him. He's like, "Wait, if I become installed in this cabinet and I'm Secretary of Defense, that's it. No beer only.
Right.
No more liquor."
Which is basically water.
No. I think he just said, "No more drinking if I get this job.
Totally.
Time to straighten up and fly right."
Good for him.
He's a VFL. Y'all talk about him with some respect.
Did you hear? Is he really?
He went to like Harvard or something, but I think he lives in Knoxville and his kids are like Tennessee fans.
Okay, so he's part of the tribe.
Yeah.
All right.
They were. He was on the field after the Bama game.
Did you guys hear the word warfighter?
Yes.
No.
Warfighter got tossed around a couple times this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
They love saying it. Warfighters out there.
I will also say I saw a picture on Twitter. No other presidents have really had posses behind him like that.
Oh, really?
I saw like it was a Obama. I want to say Obama, Bush, Biden alone. Trump needs a posse.
Yeah. What do you think? Because I got the sense that J.D. Vance was not in favor of this until he was.
Until he
was
had
told
to be.
Well, yeah. I mean, kind of the same thing with Trump. Trump was like, I'm the most peaceful president of all time. I'm not going to start any new wars.
There's receipts.
And then he's like,
of him saying that.
he's like, yeah, but this Iran seems bad, so we're gonna make an exception.
Pro peace ticket.
Pro peace. So, I don't know. Uncertain times. Uncertain times we live in. Do we have any voicemails we want to hop into? And just a little bit of housekeeping. So, Arian and I will be at the Ryder Cup this week in Massachusetts. We'll be competing in the golf tournament. So, that will be taking place on Wednesday. So, we'll be unable to do macrodosing. But we're going to get people. We've got some names. I don't think they're confirmed just yet. But
I have 2 confirmed.
Confirmed. Do you want to say?
It's the episode people have been begging for.
Yeah.
Big T, T-Bob, and Chief. And it's going to be on George Washington for July 4th coming up. T-Bob, remarkably smart individual. I like him a lot.
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
It's almost like you wouldn't expect it the way you said it.
I don't know if people know that about him. He's very smart.
Was that an LSU dig?
No. I mean, it's mostly a fake school, but no, he's a very smart guy. Chief as well.
He's well-spoken, very articulate.
No, I didn't say that. I said he was remarkably smart.
A lot of people are calling him Big T-Bob.
They're not.
Ooh.
No, I dummied him in basketball. I kept my name.
Okay.
Yeah, true. We did crush that game.
But I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Good crew.
And he was amped when I asked him. He texted back all caps. I would love to.
Love that.
Hell yeah.
Actually, quote, I would love nothing more, all caps. Thank you, exclamation point.
Nothing more than to sit down in a room with you and Chief and talk about George Washington.
That's what he said.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited for that. So you'll have a great episode coming out on Thursday. I'm going to put my PFT stamp of approval on it. It hasn't even happened yet.
Wow.
But I'm going to listen to that.
And we hope that
Good.
you have a wonderful experience and a wonderful performance at the Ryder Cup.
Thank you, Mad Dog.
Is there a prize on the line for this?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that it's, what was it last time? Like 10,000? I forget what it was. Maybe 5,000 per
You'd have
person.
to tell me, brother.
We gave ours. I gave mine away last year. Returning champion
Congrats.
of the Ryder Cup. Also, I'm wearing my PFT Golf Enterprises shirt right here. PFT Golf Enterprises, because I'm training for the Internet Invitational right now. And if you buy one of these shirts, I'm going to be picking one person that if I win, I'm going to give them 10% of my purse.
Ooh.
And my purse is $1 million if I win the Internet Invitational.
What are you going to do with the other 90?
900.
900. Oh,
90%.
90%. So some of it is going to Hank as CEO of PFT Golf Enterprises, but then person that wins the 100K is going to have an opportunity to beat Hank in golf to steal Hank's 100,000 from him.
Wow. What kind of role do you think I could carve out in this company to get like 5%?
To get 5K? Well, tell me where you fit in.
5%.
5%.
You know what? I'd take 1%.
Okay, so
10 grand.
Yeah, tell me where you see yourself fitting in.
I think, and I don't know if this is in the cards, I think I'm a great hype man on the course.
Are you?
I think I can keep you afloat.
Security.
Mentally.
Maybe security.
I'll do that.
Just stand there in a yellow polo shirt and sunglasses.
I'd love that.
Towel over your shoulder.
Sure.
That seems like you might be a good addition.
Yeah, just let me know.
Okay. We'll figure out a spot for you.
When's the tournament?
It is mid-August.
Okay.
In the Ozarks. Yeah. Humid. Is that Big T weather?
I played golf on Saturday morning. It was 95 degrees, and I only played 9 holes. That was about my limit in that weather, so 18 might be a tough, but I was built for that.
Okay. All right.
I've been through the wars down south.
We'll see if we can find a spot.
Not that one. The heat wars.
Yeah. I got you. We'll try to find a spot for you. The organization is always looking for good people.
Love that.
Just hire good people.
That's how you create a strong culture.
Yep. All right, we got any voicemail?
We do.
We're going to do voicemails. They're brought to you by our great friends at Game Time. There's nothing like getting to a baseball game, especially last minute. Lucky for me, I always use Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. If you've watched any baseball recently, you might have seen myself, Big Cat, and Hank on the Game Time commercial. We were hanging out with the Beeve and his kids, and they saw the commercial when they were at home, and one of his kids goes, "That's Uncle Wowek." And but when he sees me now, he just goes, "Twash, that's twash," because in the commercial I just say trash.
Nice.
When I'm looking through the binoculars. Very cute, but also a very good product for Game Time. I'm glad that he's getting indoctrinated into Game Time being the best ticketing partner, because they are the best. They make getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the app actually go down the closer it gets to showtime. They even get exclusive zone deals. You let them choose your seats within a given set of zones, and you get huge savings. Put those savings back in your pocket. If you're in Chicago, you can get 10% off zone deals for the Cubs at home on Sunday, July 6th versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Just look up zones 29 through 32 on the Game Time app. What are tickets going for on Game Time for that game, Big T?
So I can get you in for $75. The zone deal is $178 in those outfield club boxes, and those are right down the first base line, like the first section right there, right next to the field. They're awesome.
Love that. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code MACRO. Get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code MACRO, M-A-C-R-O, get $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game Time. The voicemails are also brought to you by Kraken. If you're going to trade crypto, do it right. No sketchy platforms, no sketchier customer support. That's why we only trust Kraken. Kraken lets you buy, sell, and swap over 300 cryptos without the lag, without the crashes, without the clownery. If you're buying crypto manually, that's old school. Recurring buys let you automate your investments so you stack sats without even thinking about it. It's DCA done right. Buy more when prices dip, less when they spike. Link your bank in minutes. Set it, forget it, let that portfolio grow. Kraken Pay has instant crypto payments. No more "I'll Venmo you later" excuses. Whether you're covering a lost bet, splitting the tab after a night out, or sending funds for the next wild adventure, Kraken Pay lets you move money instantly. Get zero fees, no banks holding things up. Oh, and refer your friends. Kraken will hook you up with up to $200 in USDG just for spreading the love. So quit waiting. Go to kraken.com/barstool. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss and is offered to U.S. customers, excluding Washington, New York, and Maine, through Payward Interactive Incorporated.
How's it going, Microdosing Pod? It's Jared from Ohio here, and I'm just wondering, what head coach across all major sports teams would you want to be the next president, and why? And
Coach O.
What are the qualities in them that make him a good fit for the position?
He's got high degrees
Stay
of Coach
beautiful and
O-ness.
stay handsome.
Couple things. He said across the major sports, which I took to mean college sports are excluded. That reads
you
to
don't
me-
think a college football is a major sport?
No, I do.
Okay,
It's my
noted.
number one. No,
Noted.
dude.
Noted.
No.
Did I mishear that?
It's my number one.
Okay.
I'm saying he said the major sports, which when people generally say that, they're referring to professional sports.
Okay.
Though
So,
college football is the second most popular sport in America.
so if we're excluding, well, I mean, college football players
Also, Coach O's not employed.
now
so-
getting paid.
Sure.
Yeah, but wait, would you just call him?
Coach O?
Yeah, you called him Coach O. He's
Okay.
still a coach.
It's a title of endearment. He's
Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, but
I call Gruden coach. He's not coaching.
Oh, then Gruden would be a choice too.
Then I would pick him.
Coach Gruden for president?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome. He's doing unboxings.
You want to talk about the addresses being lit?
That'd be great. Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
We got something here from Italy, man. Italy sent me a nice box. Let's take a look inside. Oh, look at that. Look at all this pasta. That's cool.
He'd be the best. He's gonna hurt himself. They seem to have died down a little bit.
Yeah. He just tears into him.
I've sent Malasek screenshots of him with a very sharp knife pulling it towards himself, almost ripping his chest open. And I'm like, you've got to stop him from doing this.
Let's see. But a current coach, I think Tomlin would be a good president.
Okay.
He would just confuse our enemies because it'd be like, what's this guy talking about?
Yeah.
But somehow we just show up every time, right when he count us out. Tomlin would be good.
I like Matt LaFleur's demeanor a lot.
Sometimes he gets mad. Some people
You need that every once in
call
a
him
while.
Mad LaFleur.
Really?
That's been going around. Dan Campbell is the answer, though.
Sure.
I agree.
Not
yeah.
Dan Quinn?
I got to give it up for Dan Campbell. I need Dan Quinn coaching the Commanders.
I mean, Dan Quinn kind of bodied Dan Campbell.
He did, but I want him coaching the Commanders. You can't do both.
There's only one way to find out.
Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh. Listen, I love Jim Harbaugh. I think he would be a disaster as president of the United States. I think he'd probably tell you that too.
Yeah.
I think the answer is Dan Campbell, though.
Sean McDermott has that 9/11.
Sean McDermott. Yeah, he would.
He's already got the mentality.
Just don't start any wars in January. Sorry, Mackenzie. Who else? We leave anybody out?
If we do extend, I mean, I don't know any hockey coaches really. Basketball, I don't know. I don't know who the basketball coaches are either. Now, if we extend it to college football and basketball, I like John Shire a lot. I like the kind of ship he's running.
Kind of a pretty boy.
Okay. I obviously love Rick Barnes.
Dan Hurley.
Talk about creating culture.
Yeah, Dan Hurley would be great.
Would
He'd
he?
kind of a hothead. Kind of a hothead.
You want to talk if you don't want to be getting into wars.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust him with his finger on the button.
Yeah.
Because it's like you say one bad thing to him and he flips out.
Right.
Or like the international criminal courts, they call him for something. They're like, "Hey, you got to shut down Gitmo. That's technical." And he's like, "I'll show you."
Yeah. Who's football?
College football?
Yeah.
Let's see. College football right now. Kirby Smart, also probably too much of a hothead.
Does run an effective organization though.
He does.
What about Marcus Freeman?
Yeah, I could see that. He's got kind of the poise.
Yeah, he's got a presidential air about him.
Aura. Some would say he aura farms.
Okay.
Just keep an eye on it. I'm not saying
Okay.
he does. I'm saying keep an eye. You'll see some points this year will be like.
But he does it
PFT's
effectively.
He doesn't
does.
need to farm.
He doesn't need to farm.
No,
He's got the
it.
crops.
The crops just grow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got
good.
sustainable aura.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you
for
think about
sure.
Bielema when you talked to him?
Bielema would be good, like Secretary of Defense.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd put him as president.
I was just asking a question.
Yeah, probably not Bielema as president. Shiano as president.
You'll
would be
never
solid.
give it up.
Dude, what? Shiano, put some respect on his name. He should have been your coach.
No, he's where he's meant to be.
Rutgers?
Yeah.
That's a compliment. Birthplace of college football.
Sure.
All right. You want to do another voicemail? Good question. Do you guys have any suggestions, by the way?
Marcus Freeman is a good one.
Yeah, I was thinking Marcus Freeman.
Are you just saying that because he's cute?
I didn't say anything.
Both.
That okay.
Also, we're both Notre Dame fans.
I'm very good at reading Mad Dog. The way that she just replied to that was actually I didn't because I was thinking because he's hot, not because he's
also,
cute.
yeah, he's
not
not cute.
because he's cute.
He's not cute. He's handsome.
Yeah,
Right.
He's a man.
he's a
He's
man.
married with children.
Six children.
6 kids.
Yeah.
That guy fucks.
I think Ryan Day would be like so frantic and like.
Oh,
stressed
no,
out all the
thank
time.
you.
No, thank
No,
you.
thank
No.
you.
He'd be like the worst option we'd have.
Ryan Day is giving like Marco Rubio a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the way they look. No,
In,
not
Lou
him.
Holtz.
in what ways do Marco Rubio and Ryan Day look similar?
Black hair.
Okay. That's a lot of people.
I'm just saying. Yeah, no, not Ryan Day.
Yeah,
Trying
right.
to think of like baseball coaches.
I like Tito for it, but I think he would be great. Very level-headed, experienced.
You just put a bad thought in my head with Ryan Day as president.
What's your thought?
No, just bad.
Oh,
that's
just
bad,
that's the
bad
thought.
vibe.
I think he'd like
Awful
cry a lot.
vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm moving to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Well, he also has a tendency to lose every single time he goes up against his biggest rival,
So
which
he-
would not be good in
Also
the
true.
situation in which we currently find ourselves.
That's true.
And
You-
he's scared of like old men that are close to dying.
Yeah,
yeah, he would lose back to back against Iraq.
right.
Yeah, just can't have that as president of the United
4
States.
times in a row.
4 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be bad.
I'm trying to think. Like NFL coaches. Yeah, Dan Campbell's a really good one.
Dan Campbell.
Sean McVay.
Yeah, McVay.
Yeah, McVay.
He'd be good.
I don't know if McVay's intimidating enough.
Yeah, he's like too. You don't want your president to be your best friend.
He's almost too like guy next door.
But he'd be a good like front man, sort of. Like he's just the person that
He's a
everybody
sitting
goes
duck.
to. Yes. But everybody else is doing the work behind him.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's like a smooth talker.
Is he too short to be president?
I don't think we have a ton of tall presidents though.
Oh, let's think back. So Trump is, depending on which license that you want to go with, I'd say at least 6'2".
6'2". Joe Biden was what, like 5'11"?
No, Joe Biden's tall. I think
Oh,
he's like
really?
6'2",
Okay.
6'3".
Obama's tall.
Obama's tall.
Okay. In recent history, tall.
George W. Bush, I want to say 6 feet.
Okay, maybe we do have tall presidents.
Clinton,
No, I think Lincoln is still the tallest one, and he was like 6'4".
Clinton was tall. Reagan was tall. Bush Sr., I want to say around 6 feet. When was the last? Jimmy Carter might have been our last short king.
A little peanut.
Little Peanut, yeah, that's what we call him.
Most of the guys you just described aren't that tall.
They're all above 6 feet.
Yeah, but that's not
That's
very
pretty tall. That's really
Uh,
tall.
Some may
Link-
say too tall.
That's extremely tall.
Lincoln and LBJ were both 6'4". Trump 6'3". Thomas Jefferson 6'2".
And they thought he was a giant.
I mean, Lincoln being 6'4" 200 years ago is
It's crazy.
unbelievable.
He also had the hat.
150.
right.
He
So
he
even
should
taller.
not have been allowed to wear that hat.
No.
The stovepipe, you're already, what, 6'4"?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, dude. We get it.
There's a lot of 6 foot to 6'2".
Big T, have you ever thought about how sweet you would look in a giant hat?
I don't think it suits me.
You don't think so?
No. I mean, those aren't really in style anymore anyway, but
Bring it back.
I don't know. It's too much.
Puts you up to like 7 feet.
You don't want to be that tall.
Yeah, you don't want that attention.
Oh wait, sorry to bring it back. Celtics coach Missoula.
Oh, Missoula. Yeah. Missoula as president.
Would
that
he be so good or so bad?
he would be a bad president.
Okay.
Bad president.
Okay.
It would also cut into his movie watching time. That's very important to him. But I think he would be the first to tell you don't want me to be president.
Okay, because I know he's super intense
Yeah.
and serious.
Yeah, I think he would be a good, again, like Secretary of Defense maybe. I could see him running Homeland Security.
Okay.
Yeah, I think most of them could be like
In the cabinet.
those people, but not the president.
Put Danny
a lot of
Ainge
head coaches.
in charge of all our trade agreements. We just get all the second round picks and pick swaps from Japan. Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, do you want to do another voicemail?
Yep.
What up? Sliding in the VMs here. This is Jude from right outside of Philadelphia. Go Birds. If you were to create a country, what are some of like the staple laws that you would implement in this country? So like your constitution, if anything. Curious. Have a good one. Go Birds. Later.
I think we're talking about 4-day work weeks, but I'm not taking Fridays off. We're doing Mondays off.
That's a bad call.
Why?
Because Fridays off are so much better.
Why?
If you just like skipped work one Friday, go to a Cubs game or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you go to bed Thursday night being like, this weekend is endless. Like, I'm off Friday. Then Saturday, which would be, it's Friday is your Saturday, and then you get 2 Saturdays. You get to do it over. If you get Monday off, Saturday's normal. Sunday is still pretty normal, and then you get to the end, you're like, oh, I'm off tomorrow, I guess. But then it's Monday. Nobody's doing anything that day, and then you just spend the whole day being like, tomorrow is going to be even worse. It's a completely different experience.
You get off the day after football.
It's a totally different experience.
Under my plan, you have you still have Friday night. No one's taking away Friday night from you, Big T.
But imagine if Thursday night was Friday
But
night.
Fridays at work hit so hard. You're not thinking about it that way. The Friday feeling that you have all day at work, that's a special feeling. We don't want to get rid of that.
I don't know, man.
What's the Monday feeling at work like?
The
worst.
Right
now, this sucks.
I think Monday is the easiest day of work to get through.
No, Friday.
Because you just had the weekend. You come in. You
don't even believe this. Friday's the easiest.
Tuesday's the worst day by far.
Yeah, I agree. So we just make Tuesday the new Monday. You keep that Friday feeling. No one's taking away your Friday night. You still go out on Friday, have a great time. You do whatever you want on Saturday. Sunday, Big T, you're a God-fearing man. You get up, you go to church, and then you get home from church, and guess what? Now you're back in the weekend.
Also, I feel like Sunday will always feel like a Sunday. So even if you had Monday off, you'd be like, well, it's Sunday. Like, it's different than Saturday.
Yeah, Sunday has a feeling.
Yes, yes.
And then Monday, you don't have work. You ease your way into the work week by not going to work. So Monday just becomes a recovery day.
I think you're going about this incorrectly.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
Monday's off.
I respect
Under my
it.
plan. You said something that made me laugh earlier today, Big T. I overheard you. I think you were talking to Ebo, and you go, nobody goes to church in this country anymore.
That's verifiable, but
yeah. You're very upset with this country.
I'm sure I have a lot of these. I just can't think of them on the spot.
Free healthcare.
I would have loved a heads up on this. Like people who fly down the shoulder when you're sitting in standstill traffic, 10 years in prison.
Agreed.
That should be punished more harshly than everything except like murder and rape. That should be third on the list.
That's number 3?
Yeah.
I do hate those guys.
That's all that's in my mind immediately because every time I'm coming home after playing golf on Saturday, there's like 5 of those assholes.
I'd say like all the sidewalks have to have directions to go and like a slow lane because I can't stand when people are walking slow or when they walk like 3 in a row and you can't pass them. So there's like a designated area that you have to walk if you're
I do make a show of passing those people.
100%. Or I'll like just nudge them a little bit like as I walk by.
Rubbin's racing.
I like that take though. Directional sidewalks.
Yeah. People just don't know how to walk. It's frustrating sometimes.
I could get behind directional sidewalks. One-way sidewalks?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in.
I need some more time to think of more of these. I'll come prepared.
Wednesday.
We can
make a list.
Well, we'll do it next week when everyone's back, and I'll have good ones.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We won't be.
The next week that we're doing this, which is in 2 weeks.
Okay. Do you want to do one more voicemail?
Yep.
Okay. Then we're good.
What's up, guys? This is Mike from Florida. So my question's a little confusing, but I'm trying my best to explain it. What is something that people in the future will look back on like times like today and be like, that was fucking stupid of them to do that? Kind of like how we look back on people back in the day, like, you know, smoking cigarettes or like drinking when they're pregnant. And we're like, yeah, obviously that had horrible consequences, no shit. But, I mean, they obviously didn't know that at the time. So what's something that we do now that you guys think people in the future will kind of react like that too? All right, thanks for taking my call. Love you guys. You do a great job. Keep it up. Stay handsome, stay gorgeous, stay beautiful. Bye.
I don't know that it's going to change. Like, he listed things that we've realized were bad and then stopped doing them.
Yeah.
But I do feel like at some point, and I mean, there's evidence already that this is true, but people just don't give a shit. Staring at a screen for like 16 hours a day and carrying one around in your pocket right next to your balls.
Yep.
I feel like eventually that maybe that changes a little bit. I don't know, but I feel like it's only accelerating.
Yeah. Getting to have everybody's opinion in the world at once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, there's a lot. Yeah, that's the correct answer. That's definitely the correct answer. We're going to look back in 50 years and be like, you guys stared at those things all day instead of having this nifty microchip implanted in your brain.
Right.
Wow.
Have you seen the tweet that's like 5 p.m. close bad screens, open good screens?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is.
What's the longest you've gone without a single screen in the last, let's say, 5 years?
Less than an hour, probably.
Probably playing golf, like 4 or 5 hours if I just don't look at my phone at all.
Or driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now
Not
you've got
counting like
But if
CarPlay, I
you're,
guess.
like maps.
you got screens in your car.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's ever been an extended period of time I didn't have my phone.
I was at the beach for a little bit this weekend. I went a solid, I'm going to say 3 hours, no screens.
Mm-hmm.
Felt good. But then
you wanted it.
then you look at your screen and it's like, oh, look at all these notifications. I can never put this thing down again.
Right.
I'm so far behind.
I secretly like, if I don't look at it for like a whole round of golf or something, I come back and I have like 42 group texts or whatever. I like the feeling of seeing a bunch of texts on there. I'm like,
Yes.
Yeah.
that's the good
friends.
stuff. That's the good
Look
stuff.
at you losers
Yeah.
on your screens.
Right.
I'm out here enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
Nature.
So, Mackenzie, you said an hour?
Yeah, like I can't even, if I'm not on the computer, I'm on my phone, if like vice versa, or I'm
TV.
watching TV.
Yeah. I mean, sleep obviously doesn't count.
Sleeping, yeah. But yeah, like maybe golf, but even then I have my phone and I'll like look at it occasionally.
Yeah, there's sometimes when during my awake hours, I would say the longest. Well, I do walk. I take Blake on long walks almost every day, so that's good. Where I'm
Right.
not on, but outside of that, I would say the longest on some days is when I'm in the shower,
Yes.
and that's pretty much it.
Yes.
I can't imagine there's been a day since high school I haven't looked at a screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially like the work that we do.
Right.
Exactly.
I say my workout classes, I don't have my phone. That's like an hour. a
Yeah,
day.
that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
That's actually like a great break sometimes.
So
Actu-
there's no screen in the room.
No.
I can tell you that I actually can pinpoint the longest I've gone. The day after Tennessee lost to South Carolina in 2022, the loss that knocked us out of the college football playoff, my phone was like smoking a little bit. I had spiked it during the Alabama game several weeks prior on the ground, and it like was leaking some sort of fluid that they were like, your phone could have blown up. So I had to take it to T-Mobile or wherever and drop it off and get a new one. So like most of that day, I didn't have a phone, and that's probably the last. So that was probably like 8 hours or so.
What'd you do?
The T-Mobile store was next to, is it Chelsea Market? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of just walked around there for several hours waiting on my new phone.
Kind of nice place to get lost in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of chilled out there, walked along the West Side Highway, and then headed back, and they were like, here's your new phone.
Yeah. Well, that's the answer. It's staring at screens.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a lot of medications too,
Yeah.
because we always find out about that like 30 years later.
I want to say vaping too.
Oh, vaping.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Vaping kind of passed though, didn't it?
No.
No.
It did.
Is it
but,
back?
Like,
I think so.
I think it never. I think it has always remained.
It's remained. It's the vehicle has changed. It was Juuls.
Yeah.
And now it's
Yes.
like Elf bars.
That's
or
what it is.
Ice
yeah.
bar or whatever it is. The objective remains the same.
I actually hate people vaping so much that when I see someone with a cigarette, I'm like, respect.
Right.
The OG way.
Yeah,
way to
same.
do it. Way to do it the
Yeah.
analog way.
But it's also like with vaping and even cigarettes now, like we know that
Yeah.
it's bad and people still do it.
Yeah.
Like it's like we know it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be when the like teenagers and young adults who vape now get older, there is going to be like a stark realization
Yeah.
of like popcorn lung or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and I think it's going to be very bad because again, obviously cigarettes are awful, but then like vape is also like electronic. Like there's a technology to it that I think is not going to be well received to your lungs. Don't vape.
All right. Good call. You guys will be back on Thursday with T-Bob, with Chief, George Washington, in honor of our 4th of July.
249th.
How about that? Until then, love you guys.
Or real quick, not you already did the ending. I guess this would be the 250th 4th of July.
Because there was no year zero
Well, because next year is the 250th anniversary.
of
Right.
signing it.
So this would be the 250th.
Time celebrating.
Right. It would.
No.
Okay. We're in 2025, right?
Yep.
Let's say you started doing something in 2000 once a year. You smoke a cigarette once per year.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe you have a celebratory one a year.
Sure.
This would be the 26th one you've had. The 25th would be in 2024.
Because I started it.
In 2000.
Yeah, it's the 250th anniversary this year.
No, this is the 250th
Celebration.
4th of July.
Because the first one was a celebration.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Next year will be the 250th anniversary of
Yep.
the first one.
Yep, you're right. So this is the 250th.
So this is a big one too.
This is huge.
Yeah.
All right, don't let this one fall through the cracks.
This is kind of the real one.
Get the biggest firework that you can.
This is the 250th.
In the words of somebody from The Simpsons, why not celebrate the birthday of your country by blowing up a small piece of it?
Well,
That was not for terrorists. I was talking about fireworks. Talking about fireworks. All right. Love you guys.